Look closely. This is one of the highest paying jobs in Japan. Just by pulling a rickshaw on the streets for half a day, you can earn nearly 20,000 yen. So, do you know how a rickshaw puller spends a day at work? In this video, I'll take you to find out. 7:30 a.m. Masato, 25 years old this year, arrives promptly at the garage to start work. Masato is currently a rickshaw puller in Asakusa. To ensure a comfortable and clean ride for customers, before heading out to find passengers, Masato must carefully clean the rickshaw. This is a daily task. Once this step is done, Masato goes to the office to warm up. After all, the work intensity is quite high, and not stretching first can easily lead to injury. After that, Masato puts on the iconic garment called a hantan, and can then pull the rickshaw out to find customers. Even though this rickshaw, from its appearance, doesn't look particularly special, it actually costs as much as 2 million yen, which is about 100,000 Chinese yuan. This makes the fare very expensive too, 5,000 yen for every half hour, which is roughly over 240 Chinese yuan. As for whether it's worth it or not, you'll know after watching. Another noteworthy point is that, in Japan, this type of rickshaw is classified as a motor vehicle. When encountering a red light, it must also stop and wait. Soon after, Masato arrives at his main work area. Although this is one of Tokyo's most famous tourist spots, it doesn't mean that just by parking here, he can easily find customers, mainly because the cost isn't exactly low. Sometimes, even after tirelessly pitching, no one is willing to pay for a ride. Luckily, fortunately, Masato quickly got his first customer today. Next, when the passenger boards, he will place a small stool on the ground, then personally assist them onto the rickshaw, fasten their seatbelt, and cover their legs with a red cloth to prevent them from getting cold. After completing all the procedures, Masato can start the sightseeing tour with the passenger. As a professional rickshaw puller, he must not only keep smiling throughout the process and communicate with the guest, but also perform the duties of a tour guide, detailing the history of nearby attractions for them. Moreover, every time they reach a photo spot, the service is Masato also becomes a photographer, taking pictures for the customer. Of course, for such a strenuous profession, the income certainly isn't bad. It must be said. For example, Masato basically earns 500,000 yen per month. However, this job has high requirements for practitioners. First, one needs to have good physical strength, because pulling a rickshaw is physically demanding work. The rickshaw itself weighs about 90 kilograms, and when carrying 2 adults, the total weight can reach about 250 kilograms. Secondly, language skills are needed. Since clients are mainly foreign tourists, rickshaw pullers need good foreign language skills to communicate fluently with tourists, especially English and Chinese. The vast majority, many rickshaw pullers, are university students majoring in foreign languages or tourism. In addition, able to introduce the scenery along the way. Rickshaw pullers must also possess extensive knowledge of attractions. It's time for Masato to pull the rickshaw back. This is a day in the life of a Japanese rickshaw puller. In Japan, low-educated women who don't want to rely on men for a living to earn money, she pulls a 200-pound food cart to sell onigiri, rice balls. 3 a.m. Ayako Hendoko, 27 years old this year, starts her preparations early before setting up her stall. Ayako is currently an onigiri stall owner in Hiroshima. Any food sold cannot be prepared in a place that hasn't passed hygiene inspection. Therefore, Ayako can only come to this shared kitchen facility daily to make her onigiri. Once inside the kitchen, Ayako immediately begins preparing the ingredients needed for the onigiri. Although almost every Japanese household makes onigiri, the methods vary. For example, Ayako's secret involves using mixed grains to improve texture and soaking the rice for half an hour before cooking to make the rice softer and stickier. While the rice is cooking, Ayako starts making tempura. Although it's essentially frying various ingredients, making it taste good requires skill and tests one's patience. First, the coating must be even for a crispy exterior. Initially, Ayako often struggled to get it right, frequently misjudging the timing. Fortunately, after diligent study, she finally mastered it. With the ingredients ready, the rice is also done. Ayako can begin forming the onigiri. Considering efficiency and consistency in portion size, Ayako usually uses a mold. Also, to offer customers variety, Ayako typically makes many flavors. 10 a.m. Ayako has made 100 onigiri, her daily sales target. She then packages them in food bags, attaches her DIY stickers, and pushes her 200-pound cart through the streets to sell. Ayako's onigiri are priced between 330 and 400 yen each. I wonder if you think that's expensive? It's worth mentioning that, because onigiri are easy to carry and very filling, they are quite popular among office workers and students in Japan. This means Ayako sells several onigiri soon after opening for business. However, she doesn't stay in one place too long, but moves along a predetermined route, selling as she goes. At the same time, she shares her updates online. Once the day's batch is sold out, Ayako, who was originally also an ordinary office worker in Tokyo, earning a monthly salary of 250,000 yen, working tirelessly just to cover living expenses, decided to return to her hometown. However, with only a high school diploma, Ayako couldn't find a good job, and not wanting to rely on a man for support, she decided to start her own onigiri business. Of course, initially, business was slow, with few customers. Finally, she tried combining online promotion, and gradually business picked up. Pulling a 200-pound cart everywhere is undoubtedly tough for a woman. The hardship is evident. Fortunately, the huibao reward is also quite good. Now, selling for 25 days a month, she earns 400,000 yen. She has become a familiar sight on the streets of Hiroshima, and her business is in a steady growth phase. Regarding her current work situation, Ayako says tiredness is inevitable, but this life is not only very free, but also allows her to earn money, making her feel very fulfilled. Apart from physical fatigue, she at least feels mentally relaxed. And, after all, it counts as her own business, with more potential than being an employee. Her biggest wish now is to save money and open her own shop. Then, it wouldn't be so tiring. This is a day in the life of a low-educated Japanese woman. A Japanese female university student from a poor family has to work part-time after school to earn living expenses. Do you know how hard she works in a single day? 7 Uhr morgens. Yuka, 21 years old this year, wakes up to her phone alarm. Yuka is currently a third-year university student in Tokyo. Even though there's still a long time before school starts, Yuka has many things to do, so she usually only sleeps until this time. After getting up every day, Yuka likes to stretch first, to help her brain wake up quickly. Then she goes to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. Yuka is from a rural area in Okayama Prefecture. Because her family's financial situation isn't great, and to reduce living costs, she chose to live in a university dormitory. After all, it's the cheapest accommodation in Tokyo, which is about 1,428 Chinese yuan, costing only 30,000 yen per month. I wonder if you think this price is expensive? To ease the burden on her parents, Yuka started using her free time for part-time work. As soon as she entered university, her first job at that time was working as a maid in a cafe. During work, she had to wear tight clothes, which led her to develop a habit of dieting in her daily life. This isn't hard to see from 9 Uhr morgens. Yuka puts on her clothes and heads out to school. Yuka's daily commute is always on foot, mainly because the dorm isn't too far from the school. This is also a benefit of dorm living. The Tokyo University of Science, where Yuka currently studies, has a total of 7 faculties and 32 departments. It's one of the most difficult private universities to get into. Upon arriving at the school study room, Yuka starts reviewing the content for the upcoming exam. It's worth mentioning that many universities only require 1 or 2 classes per day, with each class typically lasting about 90 minutes. This is because in Japan, getting into a good university is very difficult. Every student spends many years preparing for entrance exams at cram schools. If they fail the exam, they have to spend another year preparing for next year's retake. However, graduating from a Japanese university is very easy, with a graduation rate as high as 82%. After this, Yuka finishes taking an exam, and it's lunchtime. Since she has another class in the afternoon, Yuka eats this meal with classmates in the school cafeteria. The food here is generally not too expensive. For 530 yen, you can get a set meal with meat and vegetables. During the meal, Yuka chats with her classmates about job hunting. Japanese university students usually in their third year start looking for companies they like, then send resumes and schedule interviews, or attend some job fairs. However, Yuka still focuses on her studies for now, mainly because she wants to be a math teacher and needs to obtain the corresponding certification after graduation. After lunch, Yuka studies in the cafeteria and exchanges exam information with classmates. If tired, she rests her head for a while. After regaining energy, she attends the second class in the afternoon. Yuka's class is a very small lecture style, a seminar-type small class. Japanese universities generally use large classes in the first 2 years. By the third year, it's a few students learning directly with a professor. Through discussions, presentations, collaborative research, etc., you deepen your understanding of your field. For 15 p.m., Yuka finishes her classes for the day. With some time left before her part-time job, Yuka takes 3 subway stops to Akihabara to find a maid cafe to have a drink. Even though she quit this part-time job long ago, she still enjoys coming here to spend. After leaving the maid cafe, it's time for Yuka to go to her part-time job at an izakaya. Yuka works here 5 days a week. It's common for Japanese university students to work part-time off campus. Besides those like Yuka with poor family backgrounds, some also work to earn money for hobbies. This is a day in the life of a Japanese, female university student. What are your thoughts on this kind of life?